Hey y'all, how you doing? It's me, Geraldine, and today I'm going over the results that I've received from following my astrocartography chart. Just a little bit of backstory. I discovered astrocartography 8 years ago, and I needed to know whether or not it was real. For those of you who aren't really sure what astrocartography is, basically you take your birth time, date, and location, and you put it against a world map, and it tells you the best and worst places for you based on your planetary alignments, how the planets were aligned when you, in particular, were born. Certain planets have favorable aspects to them. Other ones, I won't say that they're bad. However, it may force you to deal with things that you typically don't deal with. I'll just leave it at that. There's tons of information on astrocartography online that you can find. And today I'm really going to focus on my results. So when I first got my locational astrology reading, it was from a Vedic astrologer. And I asked him, I said, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Las Vegas. Is that a good place for me? And then he said, it would be better than where you are now. It's just that Taos, New Mexico, and Denver, Colorado are better for you. Those are the best places for you within the United States. I didn't know much about Taos, New Mexico. I knew about Denver. I'd been there before and I loved it, but I really needed to know more about this. So I figured out how to pull my astrocartography chart for free online, which there's a link for that above, maybe the slide, I don't know. But anyways, so I pulled my chart and I started to click on the different lines to understand what significance these places had for me. For both Taos and Denver, my Jupiter line passed through those. On a high level, according to this line and placement of it, it was saying that I would experience some sort of expansion, personal development, be more in tune with my spirituality, abundance, as well as visibility. What I decided to do was move to Taos, New Mexico for 3 months and Denver, Colorado for 6 months to see what would happen. So, first, let's start out with Taos. I went to Taos for 3 months. I thought it was a very nice place, super rural, very small, only about 6,000 people population over there. There were two particular events that were very significant for me. Spiritually, a lot of people say, oh, I had this download and the download said this, or it drove me to do that. I understood the concept, but I never really had that experience for myself. One day, I was sitting in a very beautiful restaurant and I had my GoPro with me. I was filming the food that I was eating, I was filming the atmosphere of the restaurant itself. And all of a sudden, something physically came over me. I got really dizzy. It was almost as if something had come over my body. I got dizzy and I was just like, whoa, kind of like that. And the voice in my head said, you need to create a YouTube channel for Taos. This was a surprise. I didn't know where that came from. I was already a YouTube personality because I had my own channel. That's the reason why I was filming. And that was my first experience of what I label as a download. I'd never had that before. Went on to pursue creating a YouTube channel for Taos by interviewing different people within the community, from business owners to community leaders, just everyday people. And I edited the videos and put it up on this YouTube channel. What came out of that is that I was featured in the newspaper twice and I made a lot of connections within the community. So these experiences in itself already started to solidify what this Jupiter line said was going to happen. I was able to expand my spiritual awareness by surrounding myself with people within the community that were connected to spirituality in different ways than I was. I got my first spiritual download, which led to visibility. I was in the newspaper twice. And then that leaves expansion and abundance. At the time, I had one business and it wasn't doing that great. I was trying to figure things out. I'd taken a break from my business and my business partner was handling everything at home, but I didn't really know what was next and I didn't know how long my business was going to exist. I ended up going to a spiritual retreat or seminar, and this was with some people named Rachel and Robert Zink. I'd never heard of them before. I read through and I watched their ads for this seminar they were having, and I was very interested. And what came out of that was the most significant thing. I ended up building a relationship with them, and we ended up starting a business after 6 months that immediately changed my financial situation. And simultaneously, things within my business that I had already ended up improving. So it was kind of like magic that all of these things ended up being fulfilled. I went from having a business that was failing and I wasn't really sure if it was going to last to my business thriving and then also gaining other businesses with other people. So after these results happened, I said to myself, I really need to go to Denver and see what happens. I ended up scheduling another trip about a couple years later and I stayed in Denver for 6 months. I stayed in different neighborhoods. I did a lot of business networking. I did a lot of activities and met some really great people. One of the people that I met was a NLP coach. And for those of you who don't know what NLP is, it's neuro-linguistic programming. I'd never experienced that before, but I felt like it's something that potentially can help me do better as a person in life and in business. So I started getting coaching from this woman, even when I returned from Denver. I had a great experience in Denver. And again, I still didn't know what the effects of being there would be. And definitely expansion because I got to make a lot of connections. Visibility, that didn't really show up, but spirituality, yeah. And I think that was a result of just being by myself for a long time and also participating in different ceremonies. I end up coming back to my home after being in Denver for 6 months. I had an NLP session, and afterwards, I was sharing with my NLP coach about how I wanted to shift things in my business. I felt like I needed support. Maybe like an executive assistant or an admin or someone who would do a lot of the things I didn't have the capacity to. She said, "Oh, I think I should connect you with some project managers that I know." She connected me with two project managers and I interviewed both of them and ultimately ended up hiring one. What happened when I hired her was amazing. That particular year, just by implementing the project manager, my business increased its revenues by 2.5 times. And I don't think that would have happened unless I met my NLP coach in Denver. I told her what was going on, and then she introduced me to some people from Denver to help me with my business. Long story short, after all of this time and these two experiences, I really began to understand how astrocartography works and allow myself to experience the unexpected blessings or fulfillment of what that planetary energy is supposed to do. I totally believe in it. That's the reason why I've posted these videos on astrocartography, and I support people in understanding their chart and other aspects of astrology. I believe that location and where you are does make a difference. So I hope that information was helpful for you. Let me know if you want to know anything else.